Well, apparently you push less hard on the accelerator if you're not weighed down by a shoe.
If it hurts. It's like, you can't go fast. It hurts too much.
Just put nails on your accelerator and then...
Kids, you just gotta drive nude. You'll use less petrol without those clothes weighing you down. Let's go around and say some more slurs.
And also, it cost $5,000 to do.
What? Did your parents pay for that?
They must have done. I was there.
I love $5,000 to have your children taught about how capitalism is stupid.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, the guy running is like, these fucking roofs. So my daughter calls the 5-second rule 5 minutes chance. It's very good. Thank you. It's very good. Just like in a puddle, just 5 minutes chance. 5 minutes chance.
Well, a puddle is technically a marinade.
Yeah. This is true.
You want to let it sit there. Look, if you drop a Haribo into a puddle, if you leave it for 5 seconds, it's never going to take on any of those delicious puddle flavors.
Yeah.
Kids seem to either have zero fear or comprehension of dirt and germs, or a kind of like isolated, paranoid, billionaire level fear of dirt and germs, and nothing in between.
Wait, hang on.
Howard Hughes.
Okay. Zero fear of dirt and germs growing up. Isolated billionaire. Zero fear of dirt and germs growing up. Zero fear of dirt and germs growing up. Isolated billionaire. Isolated billionaire. 2 isolated billionaires.
Yeah.
We had a nice alternating thing.
I had
Obviously, you're
worms.
isolated
Yeah.
billionaire.
Anybody have worms?
Oh. Can I tell you, my life is just a fucking parade of my children getting parasites over and over again, and you can't do anything to stop it.
What?
And the drugs
Korean
don't
men
work.
living inside them?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Milkmen live inside them. Is that what you said?
Milkman?
What? Sorry.
The milkman
Excuse me. Oh, you know the milkman that lives inside your boy.
No, I said little Korean men.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Well, no, the weird thing is there's a second set of little Korean men that live even deeper that you find out about later.
Yeah, they're following the first set of Korean men around your child's lower intestine.
What kind of parasites?
See, the fact that you don't know makes me so sad for myself. So the bumworms.
The bumworms.
Bumworms. Who else had a bumworm?
All the time.
Absolutely not.
24/7.
Thank you. I keep telling people that had bumworms, and people are like, "Where did you grow up?" That's a normal thing.
It's a very
I'm
normal
normal.
Oh, I did
Okay.
find out
Do
this.
they drag their ass along the carpet like a dog?
No, it's worse than. It's much worse than that. It's much worse.
Did they attract the bumworms because they walked with rhythm?
I don't even know what that means.
It's a Dune reference. It's
I'm so
very,
sorry.
it's very cool.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very cool. It's
that's
very
pretty
cool recently. Wasn't that cool not so recently, though?
Yeah.
Dragging your ass on the carpet, someone going, "It's an old game."
He chosen one.
You know, just like, why are you dragging your ass along the carpet? It seemed the right way.
Yeah. What?
This is so wasted on me,
I
and
have
I'm
no
absolutely
fucking idea what
gutted.
they're
How
saying.
do they get the bumworms?
Well, my big daughter went to an outdoor kindergarten where they're like really muddy. So it's partly interacting with mud. I think it's like interacting with other kids with bumworms.
I have a question.
Right.
Yeah.
Outdoor kindergarten?
Yeah.
What?
I used to have.
Why?
Oh, sorry. I used to have a joke about it, which is basically they play all day outside in the woods all day every day, and she loves it 3 months of the year, and the rest of the time it's like torture. But it's like they just used to. They wear a
Because you
little
live in
tiny-
Scotland as well. That's quite an important detail
It's
here.
absolutely brutal. Like you send them out in the dark, and they go all day in like little salopettes and a little waterproof coat. And they're all made by this Swedish brand called Didriksons. So they look proper.
Right.
And they're 3 years old and they have a little backpack and they go on a coach and then they play in the woods all day in the mud and rain. And you go home to your house and stare outside thinking, I'm not going to go outside.
This is like the only preschool where you get a green beret at the end. So like, they've been dropped off in the middle of Dartmoor. Like, some of you will survive.
And the hardest. I think, honestly, I did it in part because I wanted her to have a deep sort of inner strength for the future for climate change. Is that bad?
You
It
know,
feels
you want
bad.
them to. You
really
want,
admirable.
when it's Mad Max, you want them to be at the head of
This
the
is it.
horde.
Get the vibes on board. And she would really, really like Mad Max Fury Road, like blood all over her arms. Mud.
And then
she'd have a bag full of leaves and she'd be like, please, you've got to keep all my special leaves. Because they don't give them toys. They have to do like loose parts play.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this,
yeah.
hold on. You said this. You know what this is? This is Adbusters primary school, basically,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like we've taken very seriously the main Adbusters contention,
What's
which is
Adbusters?
Yeah.
Adbusters. You know Adbusters?
It's like a very, very influential
the most
early noughties.
It was you ever get the remember like George Bush era leftism, right? Like that general kind of thing. Like what you'd expect in 2002.
Stop cursing in a rap vibe.
No. More like that was
like subverting the billboards, fucking anti-brands. I'm just reading Doppelganger, the Naomi Klein book.
Yeah. So
and it's
Children know
making me
more
think of
about
that.
Coca-Cola than they do about
Yes, that
acorns.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that was a magazine.
Set the ski resort on fire.
I was sent to.
Yes, Adbusters was an incredible magazine.
I was sent to when I was a teenager. When I was like a teenager who liked a sweater vest and managing his own investment portfolio, I was sent to what was essentially a kind of Adbusters summer camp, I think, to try to make me more normal.
Adbusters summer camp.
It was called the Pearson Seminar on Youth Leadership, and it was out in out near Vancouver, BC. I think it was on Vancouver Island.
Right.
And they had a whole day on learning how to do Adbusters.
Right.
So what is
So Adbusters is a magazine.
How do you
where-
do a
How do you
magazine?
It's
do a
kind of
magazine?
anti-corporate, anti-capitalist, but
it's
in
like
a very
Banksy
kind of 90s
if he was a
way.
magazine.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's
But it's also kind of about social subversion, like activism that's a little bit more like art-based, theatrical-based, entertainment-based. It's kind of about...
If you were to like turn the McDonald's logo upside down and then say, use that to write, "We are in distress, save the planet,"
Yeah.
that's
Put it on a
Adbusters.
t-shirt.
Okay.
And then we had a whole
Like
half.
Banksy.
Yeah, it was Banksy before Banksy.
Okay.
Ronald McDonald in a balaclava reading out an
Banksy.
IRA
Yeah.
hostage
Yeah,
message.
yeah.
We've had
Sign me up. Sign me up.
we had to do a half-day session on. It was like I sometimes elements of this come just flooding back to me as one of the weirdest experiences of my life. There was a session that we did on how to do your own ad busting.
Right.
Like if you saw an ad, how to bust it.
Nice.
Basically.
But this is in Canada.
Yeah, this is in Canada.
So it's like, oh, what if you got the Tim Hortons font and wrote "Smell my bum" in it? Or something?
No. You wouldn't write "smell my bum." No.
All right.
You'd write something. Okay, it would be like it might be like something. Roll instead of roll up the rim to win. You'd be like,
What is roll up the rim to win?
Oh, sorry, that's like I forgot no one else hears Canadian.
That's not a normal phrase.
Sorry, I forgot no one else hears Canadian. Oops.
You
Okay.
keep explaining niche things via more niche things.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Well, of course, instead of rolling up the rim to win. Of course you don't understand. Listen, when you're at the county fair on July the 3rd,
2 days after Canada Day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, so roll up the rim to win is like, again, every Canadian watching or listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about, which is an annual promotion Tim Hortons does.
Oh, okay.
Where you get the coffee, your takeaway coffee cup has a little rim on it.
Okay.
You roll up
Right.
the rim, and then it's like
And no
you
one
want a
stopped it
free
and said, rimming is
donut.
the sex act. We can't use this.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It has been happening for decades.
You're
It is like
extending the foreskin of the coffee cup.
it is essentially it is a Canadian institution. People seem to love it.
Okay.
Okay.
And no one ever considered that it's like that's pre-busted that ad. Like they've
Yeah.
already busted the ad by making it a sex
But
act.
making it about
Yeah.
rimming.
Yeah.
It's a self-busting
Yeah,
ad.
but you can. Tim Hortons has secured itself against Adbusters by creating the world's first self-busted ad.
So you and a bunch of other kids went on like a Banksy training camp.
Essentially, yes.
I would not be surprised if that's how he got started.
Yeah, I had to hang naked from a windowsill for an hour to teach me something about leadership.
Visual subversion.
I'll say more because I sometimes remember other elements of this thing. It was put together by, again, like 90s Battle of Seattle type lefty activists from Toronto. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like these sort of...
I
met 'em all.
feel deep nostalgia for it as well because it was when the first time I ever encountered any kind of left-wing politics was when I was at university.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of...
It was like 90s anti-globalization, anti-corporate stuff.
Right.
And they
But
came
not like in a
Yeah.
anti-globalist way, like not in a...
It was their main that was called the Battle of Seattle because they protested against the WTO negotiations in Seattle that
Jello
brought
Biafra
China.
made a whole album about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, who?
That Rage Against
Jello
the Machine.
Biafra from the Dead Kennedys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
It's like Rage Against the Machine
Which
when they
is quite a lot
stopped
of the
talking
Kennedys
about
at
like
this
the
point.
Zapatistas were starting to
racking them
talk
up.
about that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, but I remember so much more of this. It was a married pair of like filmmakers where you don't know where they got their money, where they like did a whole like we also sat through like their like art film that they made about like
Can I just say, my daughter's nursery is nothing like this. It simply was not Banksy wasn't even there.
It was like such a tangential, like,
No, I
yes,
love it.
the
It's
leaves.
interesting.
And I also remember they did the. I feel like I encountered so many things that became like your standard DEI initiatives years later. Like we did the exercise where it's like, there's been a nuclear war. You can save 10 people. Here's their job descriptions. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll save these 10. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, the pharmacist was racist. Did you think of that?
Oh, no!
Yeah, kind of thing.
No!
That kind of,
Pharmacist isn't
Yeah,
useful.
'cause-
There's no drugs to
Yes, true.
dispense.
But you know what? It's like you can bring in an athlete with a 95 IQ. You can bring in a corporate leader. You can bring in a scientist. But like they hold back information. And again, the whole thing is...
Thank God the nuclear war didn't hit any of the IQ score results archives. We could double check all.
And
They were
everyone's
to do the test the
100,
next
that's
morning.
good, right?
the thing I remember most clearly, though, is there was... And again, it's like, this was so early 2000s because, well, obviously no one would do this now. But one of the leaders of this thing, of like Banksy Academy for like preteens, was this guy who had a goatee, who had like a sort of knit like cap. You know, like a knit
I know
cap,
exactly
like
what
a
you're
toque
talking
with
about.
like a
Hacky
little
sack, but for your head.
Yeah, like a hacky sack cap. And he was very tall. And I remember it was like, we're gonna
I'm
learn.
imagining Matthew Lillard.
We're gonna Imagine like a tall, skinny, bald Matthew Lillard.
Yep.
And he talked about how we're going to now learn about fighting homophobia. Let's all go around the circle and talk about a bad word you've heard like gay people called. And he started and he just said, how about ass fuckers? And I was like, what the fuck am
Sorry,
I?
it's Adbusters.
Oh, sorry, I'm at the wrong camp.
It was the...
I was supposed to be hosting a seminar at Camp Slur,
There's one.
where kids learn slurs that they might not have learned at school.
It's like, oh, guys, here's all the slurs you think you know.
Yeah.
That's just really, really
Here's
saucy.
some others you should watch out for.
There's one little German boy who's been sent to Bergheim by mistake because, like, I've learned nothing about ads or busting whatsoever. Okay, something about busting, maybe.
So ass fucker as a slur reveals so much about what gay people do that kids might not even know.
Yeah, that's it. They're
think
like
I was
11
like-
going, the what?
I was
Welcome to the woods.
I must have been like 15, 16 when this happened.
Okay.
Right? It was like 3 to 4 days. Oh, they hosted a debate on who's better, men or women.
Oh boy.
Finally, we can settle it.
It was just so weird. I look back on it and I'm like, how the fuck was this allowed to happen?
But at the time, it was really progressive, and that's how I feel about Glee.
Yeah.
So how on earth was this ever made? But at the time, it was like really on the cusp of it all.
So,
Yeah.
so it's a PSYL is an intensive interactive. They haven't put it on since COVID. An experiential learning program. We want students to enjoy themselves at an exceptional campus on the shores of the Pacific Ocean. They're the blend of educational, recreational, cultural, and social activities. But those activities were baffling.
Yeah.
One of them was just like a seminar on learning to drive with bare feet so you use less gas.
What?
What?
How are the two related?
Well, apparently you push less hard on the accelerator if you're not weighed down by a shoe.
If it hurts.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can't
yeah.
go fast. It hurts
Yeah.
too much.
Just put nails on your accelerator and then.
Kids, you just gotta drive nude. You'll use less petrol without those clothes weighing you down. Let's go around and say some more slurs.
And also, it cost $5,000 to do.
Did you?
What the
Did
hell?
your parents pay for that?
They must have done. I was there.
I
Pay
love
$5,000 to have your children taught about how capitalism is stupid.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, the guy running is like these fucking rubes.
It was.
I like the idea that your parents were like, we will pay to make our kid less fucking Fraser Crane. We're gonna
Backfired. It backfired spectacularly.
we're gonna pay to teach him how to be like ironic towards corporations
We're gonna make him
in
care
the
about.
woods.
We're sending him to the woods to learn how to deface advertisements. And also
It's gonna help him a lot. Don't ask how.
And some excellent new slurs for homosexual people. If he ever has to arrange some people in a nuclear bunker, he's gonna know to ask a follow-up question.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Oh,
are
yeah.
you racist?
yeah. Before
You
I
know?
let you in my bunker, are you racist? And obviously they'll be honest.
It's funny.
No, but the next question would be, what would you like me to be? Like if it was, that sounds like what I mean, just cut this out. What I mean is I was thinking
Is it the racist bunker or the non-racist bunker? Yeah.
If you're literally, if the whole world is...
Yeah, if
that's not the question I would ask. I'm just saying.
Could you do like an incredibly unfair purity test with like before I open the bunker door and address the survivors, I quickly shave my mustache into a Hitler mustache. And I go, now they'll tell the truth about if they're the people who say they're not racist to the Hitler-looking guy.
This is
they're
it.
very
Thank
honest.
you.
They're willing to die out there for these
That's what I was
values.
trying to get to the bottom of, but saying badly because I suddenly was like, oh, now I've made it seem like I would be flexible on that. I would be flexible. I'm just thinking if it's the end of the world, people would do that because they would like.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to do it through an intercom, so they couldn't tell what you were.
I do feel as though
Through just a typed message.
Yeah.
We're doing a Turing test for this now?
Yeah.
Just because otherwise they could see, oh, this is like a white guy with a beard. I might gamble and say, yes, I am racist. Because he's a white guy with a beard with a bunker.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
I feel like the bunker is a self-selecting community in lots of ways.
Bunker owners are a non-diverse group.
My question, I want to have to ask though, has anybody here ever been like shanghaied to a weird camp?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah,
I went to
yeah.
a gifted children camp when I was a teenager.
Oh, what kind of slurs do they teach you there?
Artsy children?
Gifted children. It's basically, now I look back and I'm like, oh, it was just undiagnosed neurodivergence, left, right and centre.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
But it was all just kids who sort of had difficulty at school,
Camp compulsion.
but weren't.
Mm.
Like it was just the kids who were sort of, it was like curriculum extension. It was genuinely a very rare and beautiful experience in my life. Like I loved it.
It was more like, here are some slurs you might be called.
Yeah, a lot more like that.
Watch
But
out
it
for
was-
these.
They would do kind of projects in different subjects, and there was one particular tutor who taught me loads about creative writing, about like surrealism and performance and all these things.
How old are
And
you?
you'd go, I did them between about the age of 11 and 18.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And there was, I got them free a few times. They were not $5,000, but I got them free a couple of times because there was some generous fund that would like benefit you. And it would be a week in these kind of study centres that people use for geography, I guess. And then you'd be mainly kind of in your little age group. And it was so beautiful. Like we would do learning in depth about certain historical puzzles or counting systems or calendars. And it felt like kind of university level stuff in a really good way and very special. And also like, we all super bonded, like loved each other so much. And also it was a big opportunity for a lot of people to have sex with each other that maybe otherwise wouldn't be. Not me, actually. I was
a
already
lot of
having
summer
a great
camps are
time.
like that, but not always in a good way.
It was good. I got taught chess there. Well, I played chess there a bit and that was really good. I also had one of the funniest experiences of my life, which I don't even know if it's going to sound that good, but it was one of the best things, right? So one of the teachers on it was a guy who was in his 50s and therefore seemed in his 90s.
Yeah.
And we'd all have dinner together. And we'd all have a little snack in the afternoon. And they had cream horns, those pastries shaped like a
Yeah.
shell and thing. And I was sat there and I said, all I want to do is slam my hand on it. He went, you can do it. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he was like, I was like, and it was like the most,
Into his or your face?
into his face. It was the best. And then we did it about 4 times. And he was just like, just do it. Just do it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, anyway, it's not a big thing.
The man had a very specific kink.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're ruining Josie's nice memory.
No, I was saying it's like a version of clowning where it's like you have to kill your teacher to replace him. Pie me. You have surpassed everything I could teach you. Pie me.
Get me in the face with the cream horn.
Take my place at the head of this
How am I
college.
to win a war if I must pie all my greatest lieutenants?
It's gone night hikes. It was great, but I feel sad that I'm so earnest about it. Like I wish I had good anecdotes from it. It's where I first kissed a boy, and that was bad. Bad.
Wait, can we hear more?
How gifted,
covered in
a
cream
sad
from the
little
horn.
story. It's a sad
how
little
gifted
story.
was the boy?
Not gifted. He was the son of one of the teachers.
An interloper.
Oh, he
An
was
interloper.
baby.
Not even
a
gifted.
classic Normo.
Neurotypical, if I have to say anything.
They let the Normo in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was
Although
like,
that's kind of a flex that like the one normal boy wanted to kiss you, Like those others were kind of freaks, but I could interact with the normal boy.
I mean, that's the other thing, right? It's any group of children who are sort of isolated for being gifted always have like a term for people who aren't in that sort of little
Ass
sort of-
fuckers.
Oh, speaking of ass fuckers,
Yes.
Speaking of.
No, just speaking of the Pearson seminar on youth leadership, I don't want to name them or their company, but I have found the people who delivered the whole thing. Apparently, they've gotten into the business now of consulting with big companies as to how not to be racist.
Yeah.
They're doing DEI. They're doing like their
And
professional
their
DEI
expertise
consultants
is
now.
running summer camps for children.
Their expertise is, I think, I don't want to talk about who they are specifically. I think they are
Walking
qualified.
into Salesforce and being like, thank you for attending this seminar. Here's a bunch of slurs you probably shouldn't say around the office. Let's all just go and name a few.
This is your one chance, so make it good. Really enunciate this
Everybody
one.
everybody
This is
gets
the last
one.
chance in the office you'll be able to say ass fuckers and get praised for it. So,
I love ass fuckers because it's more just a very a sort of a bold but essentially dispassionate description of what's kind of going on.
But like, do you
It's
ever
also
have?
not just a gay thing.
No,
Yeah,
really.
anyone can. But
Yeah, anyone. You can do it at home.
it's like a guy in the woods with a goatee.
Is that what they taught you at your camp?
yeah, that's what they told me at Adbusters camp.
Yeah.
No, it was what you have, but you must have some of those memories of
Assbusters.
just strange things you've seen and heard throughout your life that are crystal clear. Just absolutely, like, I could close my eyes and I'm back in that big auditorium in Victoria in 2005, and the guy in the hat is saying, ass fuckers, who next?
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot of speakers come to my high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say every month they'll be like, we have a fun new speaker, and it would be like a lot of the time it would be like crazy quacks,
Mm-hmm.
quack.
Quasi quacks.
Crazy quacks.
The
Tune in
duck-based
to Crazy Quacks.
It's the duck-based dance troupe, the anti-drugs duck-based dance troupe.
Yeah.
Quasi quacks.
But yeah.
Just say wah to drugs.
How long would you watch a duck on a stage for?
Ages.
Like an actual duck or a man dressed as a
Go
duck?
And
a while.
if you were at school and they said, right, this is the next speaker, I want you all to be very respectful.
Duck
Which is
came
the duck.
out.
Oh God, I'd love
Oh,
it so much.
I'd glue myself to the seat until they were like, that's over, you can go now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, and nothing ever came close to a duck. But I will say, we had a guy, like an ex-Wall Street guy who was addicted to cocaine, and like he was like, don't do drugs, but every story he had just made it sound so fucking cool. Like, yeah, I was at the club and in the limo, and I didn't even sleep, and I had to go back to the office, and we're all like, yeah.
Like they got you Jordan Belfort, who was like, it was awesome, I got rich, I'm still rich now, here's some cocaine.
He's like visibly on cocaine during the speech.
Just check under your seats.
Cocaine.
You're getting high. You're getting it. All the
We're
kids.
all getting high together.
You're gonna start a business. You're gonna start a business.
Yeah.
We had him.
That's when small plates were invented, actually. It was at Olga's school.
We had a guy who was like, I think for 2 whole days was like telling us about the universe, and he was kind of like sort of a history of a universe guy, and at the end was like, and it was all created by Jesus Christ, and we're all like, no.
Oh, he
But
got
the-
you. You got punked by a creationist.
You got punked by Christian jackass.
Yeah.
You thought I was normal, but actually,
And then, but the best one was this, like, I distinctly remember this woman came, and she was like maybe not like a recent-ish graduate of the high school, so everyone was really excited to see her. And everyone was like, what are you up to? And she was like, in law school or whatever. And then so we thought that she was going to talk to us about how to do law school. And she just comes out and she's like, okay, so I've been in like the real world for a few years now, and the only piece of advice I can give you is invent something. That was it.
great
Wow.
advice
And-
to be fair.
And she was like, if you get royalties off of inventing a thing, you'll be set for life. Don't be a teacher. No offense. And then
No offense is great.
I distinctly remember her saying that, and all the teachers just kind of
That's
tightening
really
their
good
bubble.
advice, though.
Invent something.
Invent something.
It's really good, but not very helpful.
No,
A
it's not.
proprietary water bottle. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, my girlfriend
Underwater
knows.
underwater
Sorry,
phone
yeah.
case. Sorry, I'm just inventing.
She knows a guy who's like richer than God from inventing those like little cooling jackets that you put on wine bottles.
Yeah.
There you
Which
go.
is like barely even an invention. He's just taking something that already existed and being like, what if you wrap this around a wine bottle?
There was a local company near where I grew up where the guy was rich because in the 50s he'd invented that thing that turns kettles off when it's done boiling. Patented it.
Oh,
Did he
But,
even,
like-
how?
you got to patent
It's
it.
a sort
You
of
have
copper
the
coil
idea.
thing.
You don't even have to think of it. You can take out a patent for a thing that doesn't exist. And lots of people their like whole business is suing people who do eventually invent the thing by saying, I have a patent for the thing that you just invented.
But I didn't. I couldn't make it.
No.
Yeah.
I just literally.
They're called patent trolls.
It's a huge like there were some
do
high
that.
profile lawsuits involving that in the last few years actually.
Yeah.
Do they win or do people
Very
see through it?
rarely.
They get paid off. Basically, you're like the person who does actually make it is like IBM or something, and they go, "Oh, an annoying weird person. Just give them fucking $10,000. Just is so boring and
Could be a
difficult to
patent
do."
troll.
They can send both of their kids to that camp.
That's 2 summers of ass fuckers.
That's 2 FTE actually. It's,
Yeah,
it's-
sorry,
you
yeah.
could, and but that's 5,000 Canadian as well. So you'd have $2,000 left over for yourself.
Ooh.
You know, that's pretty good.
Mm.
Buy some more patents, am I right?
Yeah, the business keeps a rolling. My kids are off getting a good education as to what to do to ads, and I'm here being like, what if you could get a parasol for a car?
I've patented that.
Patenting
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Parasol for a car.
Yeah.
It's a bad
Yeah,
idea.
pretty good.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
blowing
It would
off
decapitate
immediately in
people.
traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It'd be fun to patent only bad ideas.
I've patented
Yeah.
a thing that lets you keep a dog in the car with the windows closed. It's a big parasol. It's great. Yeah, the old dog car. I'm bad at names. I'm more of an ideas guy.
What if the whole cup was a straw?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's sort of tapered upwards into a
And
straw.
it just goes, that's a sippy cup. But you know what I mean?
A sippy cup for adults. A sippy cup for adults
test
that you
tube.
a sippy cup for adults that you
Yeah.
buy, and it's pre-filled with
cone.
mixed cocktails. How
Yeah.
about that?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm investing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
perfect. Well, I haven't patented it. You can patent it.
Yeah.
You know.
This is making me sad because in my head I'm just trying to think of a bad idea and I can't even think of a bad idea.
Well, you should
Are
actually
they
go
all
into
good?
business.
Are
as
they
an
all
inventor.
nice?
There's nothing. It's empty.
A dog leash where it's a bracelet.
Oh, that's
For the
cheap.
dog.
The dog's wearing it
And
on
you
its
as
foot.
well?
Oh my God,
foot,
no.
yeah.
So you both have a bracelet so you're connected because you're best friends?
Yeah.
Or are you both connected at the neck? So who's walking who?
That's a great way if you have a strong dog to get strangled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking by XL bully, it's tied to my neck.
I've tied it to my head, so
Another case of suicide by XL bully, chief.
Saw 11 got really interesting, huh?
Yeah. Your XL bully going after a toddler so hard that it kills you in the process.
yeah, a warrior's death,
Yeah.
a noble death.
Give me a good death. A clean death.
Yeah. You go to like British High Street Valhalla if you're strangled by your XL bully.
Yeah.
What is British High Street Valhalla? What would it look like?
It's a really
Is it
massive
Woolworths?
TK Maxx.
It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
to be something
Valhalla's
already
got to be a
there.
feasting
okay,
hall.
interesting.
You take
It's
the
got to be a Toby Carvery.
rainbow bus
The cost like
Okay.
into
£8.
Valhalla town centre
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
the Rainbow Bridge
Right, yeah,
in Valhalla,
yeah.
so the
yeah.
equivalent is probably just
But,
like the bus into the town centre.
Can we have a psychopomp that charges you like £8.25 to ride the bus that doesn't come very often?
Yeah.
Oh,
And you get there and it's
Yeah.
like a Toby Carvery inside a Costa Coffee, inside a Woolworths,
There's
inside a B&H Home Bargains.
How about this?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
vape
B&M
shop whose
B&M
name is
Oh,
just.
I dare you.
There's a big vape shop whose
Argos.
name is just clearance sale. What about
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Nice.
like that?
And there's also a Barber's in there for some reason.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
that's
it's
nice.
called Skin E Fades, and there's 3 Z's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just became so deeply, painfully nostalgic for the Walnut Centre in Orpington. It's
What was-
so depressing.
what
It was
was
just
there?
the sad shopping
Walnuts.
centre. I could walk you through it, just like you're in your summer camp. Okay, as we go in.
This
and I
is
want
your
you to
Sherlock
know-
Holmes mind
Yeah.
palace.
This is what my palace. So I'll talk you through it. Now I need you to know that my memories are piecemeal. So what I'm remembering to begin with is the time I went there when I was 7, and I thought that this was unique to me, but now I see it's all children because my children do this. I packed a bag. Like as you're leaving, like I have to have a bag,
Yeah.
and then you just fill it with toys and shit and like nothing you could
What if I
possibly
get bored
need.
at the mall?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And the bag was like shaped like this, very tightly sewn. And in it, I had this googly eye that was like 2 eyes that rotated in a ball. And I remember dropping it in there and it just rolling out on my sight in the walnuts and be like, oh no, my precious important shit. So as you go in, on the left, there was a toy shop. It was the 1990s, so it wasn't like a branded toy shop. It was just a toy shop owned by a guy.
Dave's
Yeah.
Toys.
Dave's Toys. Then there was the place I got my ears pierced, which was a chemist. Got these ones pierced up here, 12 years old. My sister's like, it won't hurt. Hurt so fucking hard. Hurt for 30 years until I took it out. Like
Oh
the
my
other
God.
year, I was like, why am I still doing this?
You just had
This
ear
hurt
pain for
every
30
night.
years.
It hurt every night, and I was like, well,
Constant
eventually it will stop
agony.
hurting.
Do you think maybe the piercing was just done so badly that it was like decades of impact?
Oh, 100%.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
They didn't
Piercing
use the
first.
lemon.
There was no lemon anywhere near me.
They just sort of shot you with a gun.
I was the lemon.
Yeah. They just tased your ear.
It was a clip. It was like a cow
Just
clip.
using those things they do cows. with.
Yeah.
It's like-
Like Anton Chigurh coming and piercing your ear.
But there was an Index, which is like the rival to Argos that went under, where I had one of my only ever job interviews where they said to me, what do you think might be an issue? And I said, well, I find it really hard not to look scruffy, and I find it really hard to not to be on time. Like, I find it really hard to be on time. Because I was like 15. And I was like, I'll just tell these guys my deal.
Yeah, before
They
you
did
learn
not
how to play the game.
Yeah.
Did you suspect that they'd be like, she's honest. That's a rare quality in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Congratulations, CEO.
She'd tell you she was really racist before being let in the bunker.
Yeah. We can
She'd be
trust her.
fine.
I think I didn't even think about it like that. I think I was just like, these guys probably want to read my poetry because I'm the star of the show. I was like that, you know?
How excited are you to be working with the protagonist of reality, first of all?
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd be buzzing.
Yeah, welcome. You're finally in the
Interesting.
show.
Here at Argos, we've seen off many rivals. Index, the city of Troy. Our plans are measured in centuries.
To be fair, if you have two projects, those are good. It's like how there's only two serums, truth serum and hair serum. It's like, there's face serum now, I suppose.
There's
Yeah,
hair
yeah,
serum.
yeah.
Three
Oh, yeah,
serums.
hair serum. You mentioned hair serum.
Yeah.
Well, there are two guards. One can only tell the truth, and one only has a luscious head of hair. It's not clear which is which.
Wait, wouldn't it be very clear which was which unless they're wearing a hat?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're wearing a hat. Look, I haven't really thought through this thing.
It's two guards, one that only tells the truth, and the other that wears a sign that says, I'm a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's
please carry on.
No, this is boring, this walkthrough.
This is not boring at all. I need to know about
it had like a
Orpington.
cafe in the middle of it. It had a Clinton's cards or something adjacent, and then you'd go around the corner. It was just like a little angular thing like that, only that big, like an L-shaped guy. And at the front of it was Peacock, where I used to buy. When I was a teenager, I bought all my clothes from charity shops or Peacock's men's department,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was it was a great life. I used to buy these like.
Well, the men's clothes in Peacocks are much grander and more vibrant than the women's clothes. They're a very flagrant display.
It's like Elton John stuff. It's just crazy.
You were
The women's clothes are just like combat trousers, whatever. The men's clothes like something Liberace would wear.
If only that were the truth. I used to buy slip dresses. That's all I would wear would be like slip dresses, and I would go into the charity shops, and they knew me so well. They'd be like, "Yeah, we have slip."
You've got a
Bring it out for
separate
me.
box.
Yeah.
Getting it out from the back.
Yeah, get me the good stuff.
Would madam care to see the slips?
Yeah, I'm like, yes, you know me.
Like the guy who
That's
goes
cool.
into the corner shop for like the really cheap cigarettes that they bus in from Lithuania or
Yeah, I
whatever.
would
There's
love
like
that.
a box behind the counter of just little dresses.
And the grim face of both of them as they do the transaction. Like. And
Sean Lee.
There was a cafe that did a round of toast for 25p. I remember that. Anyway, and there was the Silver Lounge Cafe. This is boring.
The
but
silver
like, it was a
but
beautiful
I'm interested to
time.
know what is. I've never heard of Peacocks. I don't know what it is.
Peacocks is it's
like
still
a
clinging on.
No, it's not a Marshall's. A Peacock's is like a JCPenney.
We don't have those in Canada.
Oh, for
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
Sorry.
Imagine a Tim Hortons that sells clothes.
And you have to lift the rim.
Oh yes, I
Trip
see.
the rim,
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
the rim. You roll. The rim is involved.
You've ad-busted too hard and you don't know what Peacocks is.
The problem is, I know the Canadian. I know the British stuff now.
Do you know Aritzia?
Yes, actually, I do
That's
know
Canadian.
Aritzia. Yeah, I know
Well, it's
Aritzia.
nothing like.
I don't know that.
I remember there was an Aritzia on
Aritzia
Bloor
is like
Street.
Zara.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought Aritzia was always a little like a little bit higher than Zara.
I thought it was like between H&M and Zara.
Aritzia than Zara. Anyway, there you go. Some Radio 4 stuff.
Mhm.
You didn't want to go
Peacocks
blue.
is like much lower than Marks and Spencer, but a different vibe to
It's younger.
Primark. It's
New look?
Next.
It's nowhere near next.
Milo,
Yeah.
I need to know you to know on the Peacock's website you can get as seen on Michael Owen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've seen these pictures actually before.
Behold, Michael Owen.
Wow.
Look at this.
This is weird. This reminds me of something that I've been trying to think about.
He's only seen.
What's great about this is
I've only seen 7 films.
this is what Michael Owen would be wearing anyway.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about it. He looks completely natural in
Can I
this.
see?
He
He's the-
looks like
He's
Matt
only seen. Sorry.
Damon's
He's the one who's only
uncle.
seen 7 films, isn't he?
Damon's uncle.
Okay, what's blowing my mind is it's not like a little info box on a product. The collection is called As Seen on Michael
Yeah.
Owen.
Yeah.
It's not like Michael Owen's collection.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just called As Seen on.
Yeah, it's like
These
they're like,
dolls
we'll
are
do a
tremendous,
collection
by
with
the
you.
way.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to be the collection. They say, well, okay, we won't put your name to it. You promise you won't put my name to it? Yep, I promise. And then he's like,
Introducing.
he can't argue with facts.
Yeah.
You've seen it on him.
But now is it?
We're not saying he has anything to do with it. We're not saying he designed or
I mean,
even
look at-
approved of the clothes.
I'm,
He just happened to wear
I'm
them.
looking at some of the stuff on here. We have like cargo shorts that have pockets that are billowing inches out of the short.
Perfect for if you work in theatre tech.
Yeah. Michael Owen's been kidnapped by peacocks. He's like wearing an outfit, holding up today's paper.
Yeah.
He's reading out a message.
You can get the today's paper as seen on Michael Owen. Also,
it's-
I like that he's doing the model
I
poses.
love
He's
these
doing.
clothes from peacocks.
But it's true that he's seen 7 films only, isn't
What
it?
film?
Yeah.
Can I guess? Do you know?
I know.
I think it's 8.
Is it 8 now?
I mean, it's
I'm
embarrassing.
sure,
I know
I'm sure
that
we can Google
it's
it
it's
and then we can guess.
one of the greatest
Yes!
tweets of all time.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
I
you
have
have the list.
Okay.
We are guessing the films.
Okay, Titanic.
No.
The
He's
original,
talked often about how films and fiction generally is bad.
the,
He
the
doesn't
ins-
like fiction.
Yeah.
the inciting
Doesn't like-
tweet.
No.
A story.
No.
Yeah, where he revealed this, he said
not
something.
real.
He was like, "Watched 3 films on the plane home. Must have been bored. #hate films."
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was just a standalone tweet. And then people pressured him to elaborate, and then he went into details about how many films he'd watched in his life, what films they were, and why he doesn't like films.
So
Okay.
a lot of them are going to be pretty predictable.
I don't want any
But
clues.
aren't Titanic?
I don't want clues.
Godfather?
Oh,
No,
football.
No,
Okay.
No, they're not. They're not.
No, no,
They're
no,
actually
no,
good
no.
films.
Gladiator?
He still
No.
hates them.
Okay.
we're going to keep
Not
going
Titanic.
until one of you guesses
Not
one of them.
Gladiator.
I
Lawrence of
know them.
Arabia.
No.
Okay.
5 of them are the same series of films.
Oh, okay, that's helpful.
Oh, Ocean's 11, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yes.
Whoa.
Also, the tweet here, I'm afraid, Milo, 5 of them are not the same series of films. You might be misremembering.
Didn't he say like 5 of them are Rocky? He said, I've only
No.
seen 8 films and
No.
5 of them are Rocky.
He's been forced to watch these films, the following list. Rocky,
Nice.
Heat, great movie.
Mhm.
Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that seems like a bit at odds with the rest
Maybe
of them.
he saw that when he was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. Cool Runnings for some reason.
Okay.
Seabiscuit. I guess he wanted to get an Oscar in 2011.
Mhm.
The Karate Kid and Forrest Gump. He's just watched
It's a
this
solid
sort of
list.
It's like you go to an Airbnb and that's what will be
Yeah.
there on the DVD.
Yeah.
And then like 2 John Grishams
Yeah,
and a kind of
yeah.
half-finished crossword book.
Well,
Yeah.
because those
Yeah.
are all fine to watch for the whole family, right?
Mm.
I feel like
He
a
does
lot of them are
have- he
adult
does have kind of a
themes,
child
though,
mind.
deaths and-
Heat is definitely adult.
Yeah.
Unless you like, I don't know, you want your kids to like learn how to like do an action reload.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Which
adult, but
I
in a
would
way
if
that
I was to have them.
like a 10-year-old
That's why my
boy would
kids go to
love
them.
Heat.
I feel like I don't know.
No, a
I'm not a
10-year-old
parent,
boy
but I
would
feel
love-
like parents are more fine with violence than they are with sex or
Yeah.
drugs.
That's true. But also, a 10-year-old boy would love 15 minutes of Heat. Like
Yeah.
the rest of it is like sort of tense setup, and you know, like the relationship between a 10-year-old boy would love the like the running and the gunning,
The
which
gun
is a
bits.
very small amount of the movie.
I remember going to see that film when I must have been about 14 or 15 years old, and we went to see it because it was like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we were like, we're doing the right thing, and us all just being like, this is so boring. What the fuck is this? This is 2 hours long. And they're just sitting there.
You weren't entranced by the tension between.
No, I went with Michael Owen, who was my boyfriend at the time.
Well, you forced him to watch it. You had a gun to him, and you were like, "All right, Michael."
And then actually on the Heat DVD it says as seen by Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Seen by Michael Owen collection.
Yeah, that would be great.
That
Like
ain't true.
a timeline of
Criterion.
Oxford
It's a
DVDs.
way smaller
It's like
Criterion.
a DVD box set.
Yeah. It's a new Criterion collection, and the Criterion is: has it been seen by Michael Owen?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Owen watched Al Pacino say, "She had a great ass," and that informed his later sexting endeavors.
No, it
So he got
wasn't
caught-
sexting. It was just a reference to Heat.
Yeah.
So, what did Michael Owen do with regards to sexting
He responded to a picture of a woman's breasts
on
with,
Twitter?
no, like in a DM,
In a DM? Okay.
with "Those are tremendous, by the way."
Great.
Which
I love
is-
that. I
Was
love
it-
it so much.
Was that
Yeah.
unfaithful to somebody? Is that why people were annoyed, or they just didn't like?
I
him
think he
doing it?
was. I think he didn't actually sleep with this woman. They were just kind of sexting, but he was married at the time. Yeah,
So cute.
it was-
Sex, though.
I know.
Tremendous.
Well, because my mum had a.
Tremendous, by the way.
Yeah, I talked about this in a show, but my mum had a real thing that she was convinced that Michael Owen was like a nice boy. And my mum didn't like football at all, but she liked Michael Owen and would always like defend him for like no appreciable reason. And then I remember like the bit was about the sex, and I'm like, well, I don't think my mum ever knew about the sex, but on the other hand, they are the sort of things a nice boy would say
Yeah.
if confronted with
These
breasts.
are lovely.
Yeah, just sort of
Thank
like
you ever so much.
panicking.
Yeah.
Well, it's the by the way. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
presenting it as sort of an aside.
Yeah,
I just love the idea of Michael Owen as a footballer being the most Spock-like enjoyer of fiction.
yeah.
Did you think footballers would be more easily enthralled by the magical world of cinema, whereas he's like completely immune? He's just watching it blank like a mannequin.
His favorite book is Infinite Jest.
No, that's never. It's fiction. His favorite book is the dictionary. His favorite book is the phone book, the dictionary, maps, various maps.
Yeah,
Okay,
True.
you're getting
He
into
loves
pretty familiar territory for me right now.
IKEA instructions.
Look, phone book, dictionary. No, that's silly. But maps.
Maps.
Let's talk about maps, maybe.
Have you ever
For
read
a
this?
moment.
Surveys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have several ordnance surveys.
I've got.
Um,
I love.
Yeah,
love
that's,
them.
Well, you've got to track down your kids. I think they're just over that ridge. We should get there by nightfall.
You've got to track them with that beacon you clip to their belt.
yeah. Oh well, it's time to come home from school, and mountain rescues just.
yeah,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
I have
my
a question
life.
about children.
Okay.
If I made this,
I'm an expert.
if I made this observation before in the podcast, please call me out because I've had this observation before and I don't remember if I brought this up. So if I have, call me out.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
We will.
Mhm.
Later on Twitter.
I'll call you in.
And okay, so children up until a certain age, when they see a new thing, I'm sure I have brought this up. They 5 sense it. Have we discussed this?
I don't think we have.
So you 5 sense it, right? You as a child see a thing that you haven't seen, and you're like, okay, well, I'm seeing it, I'm listening to it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it, I'm touching it. At some point, a kid goes, I don't need to taste it. 4 is enough. When
Yeah.
does that stop?
Please let me know when it does. It's interesting. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. My little daughter is really loves to like try everything. I think they still get away with it a little bit when they're like 5, 6, 7, insofar as they might lick a bar. You know, like if you're in the park or on the
Yeah, of course
bus,
you
they might
would.
be like, "Oh, I'll just lick like the side of the window."
Yeah.
Like, my children, you know, they're just sometimes
I
investigate.
get it. I
with
totally
that
get it.
sense. Yeah.
What do you drop next? Smell? Smell's a risky one.
You don't need to touch. You don't need to touch a thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Sight
know.
kind of stays the main one.
I don't need to
Yeah.
listen to this mug.
No.
Well, you could hear the ocean.
That's true.
I've patented that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mugs.
Bringing a guy
I
over from the
invented
club and
mugs.
being like, you better be 5 sensing this shit.
the
5
best,
cents in it.
the best detectives would 5 sense it all.
We're licking a dead
Yeah.
body.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
fresh.
Mm.
They might still be around here.
All right, Detective Wolf, let's get after them.
Let's get after Josie Long's children. They've got a
More
2-hour
like
head
Detective
start.
Baby.
You'd never catch them.
5 cents killer.
wait.
Yeah.
The 5 cents killer, what's he doing? Or she?
He's running away from Detective Baby.
Wait, hang on.
Detective Baby is 5 sensing
Oh,
everything.
we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah.
We both 5 cents everything. The De Niro,
Yeah,
Pacino, like
Baby.
like
And
cafe
fucking
scene.
Al Pacino, like,
Yeah.
You went that way.
I could smell the 5 cents killer.
Every
No, wait.
murder.
Hold on, is Pacino Detective Baby or 5 cents killer?
No, he's Detective
detective,
Baby.
isn't he?
He can smell the 5 cents.
The 5. He's left his calling card a nickel. He's figured out homophones.
oh, that's 5 cents, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Very good.
There we go.
That's nice. I
That's
like
a very
it.
smart baby.
Each murder, the clue would be like an audio clue or a smell clue or a sight clue or a touch clue.
So
or
That would genuinely be an interesting show.
We're making the
Yeah.
sequel to 7. It's called 5.
Ooh.
yeah.
Basically.
The
Yeah.
sequel to that is 3. I don't know what you've
And
got.
then
Three
one.
of one.
Stooges. It's a dark, gritty
Stooges.
reboot of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
It's like,
The box is full of shapes. I put them in there through the holes. I'm Detective Baby. That's what I do all day. I take the clues, I put them through the holes.
Taking a call on like a clown phone.
is that enough to hear with you, Detective Baby?
I'm sick of getting calls from this fucking cow. I know, Moo. What else? And the pig is on thin ice.
I press it down, it pops up again.
I'm getting too young for this shit.
A surprising number of movies are like this. It was very hard to get hold of the movie Tiptoes with Matthew McConaughey
All
and
of
Gary
these sound
Oldman.
fake. All of these sound fake.
Oh, when I explain what Tiptoes is, it's
Wait,
going to
what's
sound
Tiptoes?
even more fake.
May I guess?
Yep.
Okay. Gary Oldman and whom?
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. Tiptoes.
It's an all-star
A
cast.
ballet dancer and
You've made this movie too good already. Way too good. Think so much dumber.
Okay. 2 burglars
Mm-hmm.
have to
I'm not saying
take
correct. I'm just
a
saying go on.
baby with them,
Mm-hmm.
and the baby keeps crying and then ruining the heist.
That would be quite a good movie.
Is it
Yeah.
the movie version of the board game Don't Wake Daddy?
I don't know what.
Is this just another Canadian thing?
Yeah, I just not feel
Sexual board game.
The key turning in the lock was my own personal "Don't Wake Daddy" for 20 years. No, so the movie Tiptoes.
Mhm.
The premise is that Matthew McConaughey is a normal-sized man who comes from a family of entirely dwarves,
Okay.
and he's going
All
out
right.
with a woman, and he's trying to disguise the fact that his family are dwarves
Why?
from her.
Why?
Because he's worried that she won't want to go out with him because she'll worry that their kid will be a dwarf. This isn't how dwarfism works. I googled this. It is
Also, it's
theoretic.
just so unsavory.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Kate Beckinsale's
But it's
in
back
it.
in the 90s when dwarfs were still just like, do whatever you want,
Yeah, and
premise-wise.
Gary
just go
Oldman
crazy.
is playing his father, who's a dwarf, and he's literally like kneeling on his shoes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's absolutely astonishing.
And you're saying you can't get hold of that film anymore?
Oh, you can get it. I have it in like 420p if you want to watch it. If you want to watch it in glorious,
If
like,
you want to watch a slideshow
Yeah.
of the movie Tiptoes with Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage.
If you're Gary Oldman, how possible is it to sort of, obviously not immediately, when it was released it had to go to a cinema and it had to be out there.
yeah.
What, you give it like 10 years and then you start to think, I would like that film to not be out there.
Yeah.
And I'm Gary Oldman, so I've got money.
Yeah.
How
Hmm.
many
Do
people?
I like hire someone
There
to
must
Like
like
a hitman.
yeah, delete the links, like buy up all the DVDs, trash them?
He's got the
Wipe it
world's
out.
largest collection of Tiptoes DVDs.
Yeah,
They're all in the Michael Owen collection. No one will ever look here.
he was about to push them in like a sort of furnace, and then had a sort of Isildur moment. No, I have to keep them.
Yeah,
when I die.
Fine.
Burn them.
Basically,
How many films?
that's kind of the...
Cast it into the fire, Gary.
No.
to Matthew McConaughey.